what I've seen in my industry is really extreme cost pressure by clients, and it includes lots of financial service companies, but a lot of cost pressure to reduce spend on litigation. And so we've seen. Well, I guess I should give some background for the benefit of everyone on the group on here. A lot of what happens in litigation is the exchange of documents in what's called discovery, and part of that involves review of documents at a large scale. We're talking sometimes in the millions. And one of the most expensive parts of doing that is determining whether a document contains attorney-client privilege or work product. And if it does, you have to hold those back from being disclosed to the other side. Typically, that is one of the most expensive parts of the entire process. And so what we've seen is an adoption of machine learning to both determine if documents are relevant to a case and need to be turned over, but also whether there's a likelihood that the document is actually privileged and should be withheld. And so when we first started looking at this technology, the question that came up was, how do we trust it with something so important? Because if documents go out the door, it could be potentially very damaging to our case. Even if we have the proper legal mechanisms in place to recall those documents, you can't really unsee something. Even though ethically as attorneys we're not supposed to use that, it's very difficult, especially with some practitioners who may not follow that to a T. So what we started doing is testing machine learning against actual human performance in blind studies, where we ran a machine learning program in parallel with actual humans, and then started measuring the results over time. And they didn't know it was happening. It was kind of, we just did it on the side to test it. And we found in every case we've done the proof of concept in that it's been more accurate than the human reviewers. And on average costs half to maybe a quarter as much to operate and get results. So, in terms of what are our clients looking for when we say, well, these are the most expensive parts of your litigation, and they say, well, how do we address this? And so we introduce machine learning technologies to them. And so I think the first, what we're seeing is some more adoption of that. And it's still very, very low overall in the legal industry, but you're starting to see the use of machine learning to categorize documents, to classify things, to make it easier for people to look through huge volumes of data. And for example, this month I put 12 million documents through machine learning for my cases. And it's become, for me, something I recommend in every case, just because it does have such an enormous impact on cost reduction and quality and avoiding risk.